And what was B?
What was the question then?
What is B?
No,
B
but
is a
what is
constant.
given?
B is a constant.
What was given?
Yeah.
What was the question and what was given?
And that equation.
Read that. The equation was given, right?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. So how did you do?
We expanded it out.
Expand it. Okay. So that's a normal one that anyone can do. But that's not the actual. That's why I wrote down it here. I kept it here so that you can. What you should do is it the way it is explained in the book? Just check.
Yeah. It says to expand it and then things from there.
Yeah.
Just check.
Let's put to the next one.
They will work in the in between.
Yeah, so expand the left-hand side of the equation
And right hand side.
and then collect like terms so that the left-hand
Okay.
side is in the same form as
See,
the right-hand side.
actually, that's why I left it like that. But if I solve it, you know how do I solve? This is x plus 3 and there is a minus 2 here. So that means you have minus 6 here, right? Correct? And there is a minus 6. So what I can do? No, I cannot cancel minus 6 because it's a product, you know. It's not independent minus 6. Here it's independent minus 6. So this I can write as x plus 3 multiplied by, how do I write?
3.
X cube. So this will become x square. Correct? Then plus 6x square plus something. Are you getting? This I can expand it. X plus 3 can be taken outside and x square plus 6x square. So it becomes, will it become?
Nice.
No. I can take x outside and write it. I don't want you to look at this. I want you to independently try. Try. I want to write x plus 3 outside. Right? Multiplied by something here. Then immediately I can say b is equal to that number. You understood? This side will be x cube plus 6x square plus 7x minus 6 is equal to something multiplied by x plus 3. Will you be able to write this? Done? I'll give you some clue. Should I, or you will do it without a clue?
We'll do it.
X cube plus 6x square plus 9x minus 2x minus 6.
Wait,
Because
minus
this plus
9?
7x I am putting as like this.
Oh. Wait, oh, okay. Minus 9x. Okay, plus 9x minus
So
2x.
this will become x plus 3 whole square minus 2 into x plus 3. This is one method. There are many methods.
Wait, what does that say? Minus 2?
No? See, the same fellow is this. Is it true? 7x I am writing as 9x minus 2x. Why am I writing like that? Actually, to solve this you don't require, but this will give you a lot of ideas of how to solve different problems at a different time. So I am taking this as an example. Got it? So this will become x plus 3 whole square minus 2 into x plus 3. Got it? No? Are you getting?
Would you have to take x out for that, or x into x plus 3 whole square?
No, I am just writing x cube plus 6x square plus 7x minus 6 is the problem, right? I want to write this something multiplied by x plus 3. We did another problem, no, in which you remember we want to write it as product of something.
But then you made that plus 9x minus 2.
Yeah. So
but then if you're making x plus 3 whole square, then won't you have to take out an x?
wait, I'll do that.
Okay.
This is x into x plus 3 whole square. Correct? You got it? So this is equal to x into x plus 3 whole square minus 2 into x plus 3.
So it's x minus.
So this is it. From here both I can take x plus 3 whole square. So it will become x square plus 3x minus 2 into x plus 3.
Where did the 3x come from?
Yeah. So this is equal to x into x plus 3 whole square. This you agree?
Yeah.
Minus 2 into x plus 3.
Yeah.
Fine. So this will be here x plus 3. If I take it outside, this will become x into x plus 3 minus 2.
Not counting this, right?
So I am taking this x plus 3 and x plus 3 outside. So this will become x square plus 3x minus 2. Correct or not?
Yeah.
What is on the LHS left hand side? This is equal to this. You got it? So what will be B? Because this is exactly the same. B will be
3.
3. When the second problem, you learned how to take that x minus 1 out and then solve it, right? Something you did. X minus 1 or x plus 1? Somewhere you took y minus 2 outside.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because you took y minus 2, I was thinking, why in the first problem they didn't do that?
Was in this one.
If this would have been done like this, the first problem would also have been solved in same style. Got it? The other day I was asking a question. What was that? 6,200 kilometer is the radius of Earth multiplied by 2 pi approximately can be taken as 3. I don't want decimals. This is the distance perimeter which travels in 24 hours. Right? So you write 24. So generally what people will do, perimeter you will compute multiplying 2 into 3 into 6,200. Then again you will have to divide it by 24, right?
What you could do?
You don't have to, you just cut it.
4.
So same here also, you don't have to expand both sides. What you can do? Remove the common factor and then the problem becomes simpler. That's what is to be done.
Wait, so here you just divide by 4. You divide.
Yeah,
Okay.
you understood?
5,
So
0.
don't solve problem before formulating the full problem. So when the whole problem is seen, you will see minus 6 is here. Here there is a plus and 3 and minus 2. So immediately you must follow that. Yeah, there is some clue here. They will never give a problem which cannot be written like this. If there is some other number, you will not be able to write like this, right? They will never give. Find B will not be given with some other number here. You can also do, if it is x plus 4 also, you can find B. But then it will become a complicated problem. Lot of fractions and all things will come. They will never give such problems. Always simple problems are given. Why? They are not testing your computation ability. They are not testing your maths. They are testing your speed and logic. Will you get? Why you not well?
Huh?
You are fine?
Yeah.
You want the fan to be off? Off. There. Light also not good, no? Yeah, it's good enough. Got it? So they are not looking at whether you can do maths with division, subtraction, multiplication. That's not the idea. The idea is whether you have logic, whether you go for shortcuts. That's what they are looking at. Okay? Yeah. What do you want today? There's English. There's English. Yeah? Today is English?
Yeah.
What do you want today? Water? Chemistry? H2O? Yeah. What is hard water?
Ice.
What is heavy water? Is there different water or only water? Never heard? Learn different types of water sometime and come. Heavy water. And possibly if you can find some place, go and see heavy water plant.
We did reading synthesis.
We
did
reading synthesis. Finished?
I don't remember.
We just.
She must.
I think so.
She's the one who read. Did you read?
She read writing and language expression of right. Oh no, she did standard English conventions, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Never done some English.
Writing and language standard conventions. I think it
Reading
was
information
conventions.
and ideas.
Yeah, maybe it was all.
It was reading information and ideas. How about command of evidence? I mean, like.
We didn't do
Let's
reading
all do that.
rhetoric. We didn't do reading rhetoric.
We've done reading rhetoric.
We did that by ourselves. That was synthesis. We did synthesis.
We did rhetoric.
That was synthesis.
No, reading
I read
synthesis.
Look
we
at it,
did
no.
That book.
Look
Yeah, we read the
inside.
book for it.
That simple life, simple thing. Simple life, whatever.
Look at it. Go into the text and see.
Yeah. We did this one and we read multiple texts. We read the poem before this one.
Okay. Read.
We did this. Up until now in our discussions of the SAT reading test,
What is that title?
reading synthesis.
What is synthesis?
putting together.
It's basically like a summary.
What do you think a reading synthesis chapter will have?
You'll have like some numerous number of texts, and then you'll have to analyze both of them and put it together, like compare and contrast, cause and effect. I think that.
Example?
If you're given 2 articles on one topic, then you'll have to compare and contrast how they looked at the topic differently, what the author's like purpose was in both of the paragraphs, how like what same points did the both paragraphs make. Yeah.
Anything else?
I thought that like they might teach us like a way like to summarize like all the key points and how to find those key points in an article.
Okay. No idea. Anything more?
Adding on to Radhika's idea, I've seen a couple questions about where the SAT goes. What was this author's main purpose compared to this author's main purpose? And one would be like, for example, this was on a practice SAT I took. It was talking about a law of free religion, and the first passage was talking about how Christian churches should be given money because all men are good as Christians or something like that. And the second passage was like, it was a rebuttal to that passage and saying, no, free religion is correct and not everyone needs to pursue Christianity, even because even Christianity had its downfalls at some points, like the Crusades and stuff.
Okay, suggest a topic where all of you can write, and then just do a synthesis before going into that. Then we will see whether you follow the rules or not. So we will create our own paragraph. So tell me a topic. Suggest. Fast.
Books. Books. I know. Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter. Sure.
You can never be serious in life. Do some serious activity.
Volcanoes.
Oh, the price controls on the pharmaceutical industry.
Global warming. Global warming. Is it true?
Serious topic.
What are you up to now? Why are you here?
To learn about, to learn how to learn.
Yeah, to learn how to learn. Okay, then for what? What are you aiming at now?
So that I can get a really good score on the SAT.
Yeah, that is the topic.
Getting a good score on the SAT.
How to learn whether SAT is doing a right method of assessing people. No? Write a paragraph. 10 sentences minimum. Should have real essence.
If the SAT is...
No, don't talk. You write. Because you don't have to spread your message, then there is no synthesis. She will start synthesizing and writing. I asked you to write how many sentences? 10 sentences. It's okay. If it is almost done, you can conclude. Done?
Yeah.
It's okay. Tell me, how many paragraphs you wrote? All of you wrote one paragraph, right? Have you ever seen any article, any message sent with one paragraph? Then why are you not following? You must have read hundreds and thousands of books.
I technically have 2 paragraphs.
That's
The
the
second
second
part I haven't finished my second paragraph.
This is one mistake which I keep seeing among all students. Any teacher who loves to see at least a few paragraphs.
it segregates your ideas. The synthesis will happen only when the writer has synthesized themselves. If you have that ability to synthesize your own paragraph, you will be able to synthesize somebody's paragraph. You are not able to synthesize yours, making into groups. Separate this idea, this idea, this idea. And there should be some introduction, there should be some conclusion, there should be an idea coming out. Okay, did you give a heading? Okay, now think, read the paragraph, and then see what could be a catching title which you can give. Look at it, do it fast. Quick, you don't have to think too long. Immediate, one good heading. What is the heading?
Learning for the SAT or learning to learn.
Louder, clear.
Learning for the SAT or learning to learn.
SAT
Or learning to
or, so you gave two options for the people to decide what is the paragraph, or you gave. You think somewhere some heading will be with an or? Any heading you have seen? Or and?
Would it be versus?
Okay, next.
Our future, sad.
Hmm?
Our future, sad.
Your future set or our future set. Okay,
Our future.
good.
Aptitude in the SAT.
Aptitude
And the SAT.
and SAT. Okay.
SAT and learning.
SAT and
Learning.
learning. Will test come first or learning come first?
Learning come first.
Then why SAT is a test and the learning is
Learning and the SAT.
not learning for SAT?
No,
No, you don't want to learn for SAT.
I do.
Okay, now read. What you should do is, while she is reading her paragraph, I would have exchanged, but yours is unreadable. So the punishment has to be for you only. You note down all the points when she is reading and do that for all of you. And then let us see. And what you should do is give a grade for the paragraph which she wrote. For you also you should write a grade. Okay?
So just all of the points, or is it similar?
No, write all the names. Your name. Beginning. All of you. Write names. Radhika. All of you write Radhika. You also should write Radhika. Somewhere in a table. You are going to make a table for all. Radhika. Next. Sanchana. Here itself next line is good enough. Still it's not writing better. Do it.
Here, do you want
Your another pencil I threw the other day. See. You want pen or pencil?
She got one. I have one.
This is yours.
This is mine.
Oh, match.
Yeah.
Ramya. Hey, you don't want to attend the camp?
I texted my dad and he said I'll text.
When?
I told him.
When?
Told him today morning.
Okay.
I told him
He is
before.
not here?
He's at office in India, so.
Okay. Write her name.
Pratisha, I did.
Pratisha. Why yours is...
because
You
that
want
way
to-
I can
okay,
separate
fine. Good.
the answers.
Where'd you get this?
Okay, now read. All of you have to rate others and you have to rate yours also.
What do you write? Do you just write point? Like
Yeah,
key
point out of 10.
Learning and the SAT. The SAT is supposed to test a student's knowledge and application of said knowledge.
Okay.
The
Should I comment?
Yeah.
Supposed to means what? Why did you use the word supposed to? Instead of that, what could have been used?
SAT's purpose.
No, wait. I am not. You know when you write supposed to, what does it mean?
You don't
You're
know.
arguing with it. You're arguing with it.
No, you expected, but that's not happening. You are supposed to talk to me when I came to your house.
Okay.
I expected, you didn't do. Is it not? So, supposed to is an expectation which is not happening. So, it's like a negative. So, SAT is not doing it? You think this SAT is not good enough to test you?
It is.
Eh?
It is.
Understood, no, beta? So, look at it very critically when you use words. Yeah.
The SAT has 5 major sections, 2 for math, 2 for English, and 1 for essay writing. However, the majority of its questions are multiple choice, and with multiple
2
choice
for maths, 2 for English.
and 1 for essay writing.
Is it done like that?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
But technically not. English ones is all under.
English is reading and writing, and then reading and language.
Linguistics and
reading and something, and then writing and language.
okay.
French.
And the maths?
Maths is
No calculator and calculator.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 1 for essay writing. However, the majority of its questions are multiple choice. And with multiple choice questions, there is always a chance you could get lucky and guess the question.
But you don't have negative marks, right?
No negative.
In India, most of the competitive exams you have negative marks. You know this? 100 questions are given, right? If you make it right, you get 200 marks. 2 marks for each. But if you make anything wrong, half mark will be cut. So if you answer 70 and out of which 50 was correct, you get 100. But the next 20 were wrong, so you lose 10 marks.
If you don't answer it, do you get anything taken?
No.
So if you don't.
So if you are not confident, don't write and burden the teachers. So here it's easy. You can write. It's wrong also, no problem. Correct? Yeah.
You could guess the question right if you don't have any knowledge on it. With chance and luck being a factor, how accurate can this assessment be of a student's knowledge and application skills? Many students aim to get a high score on the SAT, as their score plays a major role in college acceptance. In order to achieve their goals, many students cram for days and weeks. Cramming will give them knowledge, but will it teach them how to apply it? The best way to study if you're aiming for a high score on the SAT is to first understand the concepts, then do practice problems. When you do practice problems, it's crucial that you look at the problems in a different light and tackle it using different methods and shortcuts. This will make you faster and teach you how to apply your knowledge, which is necessary for testing on the SAT.
Good. Right.
Is it like grade on a like
Out of 10, how much
8?
mark you will give? She was very fast in grading you.
Aptitude in the SAT. The SAT is a test used to measure our aptitude for learning by testing our speed and accuracy when solving problems. In this class, we learned ways to solve multiple problems using one method. We also learned how to connect multiple topics using logic. In total, we learned how to learn and study for any test, exam, or topic in the world. The SAT tests are aptitude for 2 specific topics, English and mathematics. Through this class, we can increase our aptitude for knowledge and get a better score on the SAT. This class also prepares us for the world, as we learn many topics about the world. Many worry about this test because it will affect the rest of their life. However, if they learn what the SAT is really about and how to prepare for it, they will ace the test. Overall, the SAT actually tests your aptitude. That's it.
Great.
Our future SAT. I believe that the SAT assesses our knowledge in a good way. It includes a multitude of questions to help assess our knowledge. The class helps with the SAT because it helps us understand different ways to perceive questions. We were able to discuss how we came to our conclusion. This class also contains real-life examples that help us understand the world around us. In the SAT exam, there will be many challenging questions that test our knowledge / logic. So in this case that it is it will better equip us for the years to come or college. On the other hand, there are people who do better in class than they do on tests. Many children are bright, but the pressure of a test can take a mental toll on a person. I have heard of people who have failed or have gotten a low score on the SAT because they couldn't handle the pressure of the test. All in all, I personally believe that the SAT and this class are both beneficial to our future.
Right. Rati.
I didn't finish, but anyways.
Hmm?
I didn't finish.
That you can add 1 or 2 sentences.
Well, I mean, like I have a 5-paragraph essay, and that not 5-paragraph essay. I have a 5-sentence paragraph, and that's it.
Read.
Okay. The SAT is known to be a college preparedness test, but how well does it do at assessing students? The SAT does a well job of assessing how college prepared students are. Some say, while it does have sections for testing your ability to understand, comprehend, and solve math and English questions, it literally has no section on the science or history/social studies to test basic understanding for those who might be going into majors in those fields. It is understandable, though, why these fields are not included. For those who aren't seeking further education in history or science, it would seem redundant to be assessed in these areas. This, along with the fact that math and English are based for the other two, show that they don't need to be assessed.
So who are you arguing for? You're arguing for or against?
For the SAT.
Yeah?
For the SAT.
Okay.
So
So it's good or bad?
it's good.
Pattern is good?
Huh?
So it is good enough or you want to change?
No, that's good.
Okay. Then why did you make a negative statement in the beginning? SAT doesn't have social studies, it doesn't have geography.
Because I'm saying what
Science is
the
not
other
there.
person would say and then coming back with a rebuttal.
Good. Okay, now how do you analyze her paragraph? Criticism. What is wrong with that? What is right?
I liked how she took it. She saw it a different way. Like I wouldn't have thought of it as there's no social studies in science. So I liked that she looked at it a different way.
I liked her arguments that like those two are the base for the other two subjects and how like people who aren't going into those majors would think it's redundant.
I agree with Radhika, except it's not clear whether she's for the SAT or whether against it or
Yes,
not.
starting
So-
with the rebuttal made it a little confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, how
If
do
you'd
you?
had the rebuttal
How do you? How do you argue for your paragraph and on the negative points which they said?
I think they're right. I didn't get to finish my entire thing, so
You couldn't make it full.
no, I couldn't.
And how do you assess hers?
I really liked yours. It was really good. I liked how you thought of like the pressure of tests and how students do differently in a classroom-based setting than in a test, and how you mentioned that. And also like how like examples of how this class helps you. Like you said that it relates to real life examples to help understand, and you gave like specific examples of how it's helping you. I like that.
And you also just, like, you had people, like, I mean, yeah, like, gave examples of how actual people, like, told you that it didn't help them and stuff.
So that helps you picture the full picture instead of just your argument as well.
But also if you'd like mentioned specific people, then like it would have made it more credible. But like, fine, good. You can't always do that.
Yeah.
About Sanjana.
He's trying to remember her.
I liked yours too, and how
If nobody is remembering yours, that means you are not an effective
Speaker.
speaker, effective presenter. Content was not effective.
I think it would have been nice if you like.
Or it could be because you read in the beginning, right? That's also quite possible. But even if it is in the beginning, Force it. That's what you should do.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked your paragraph and how you mentioned like connecting topics and like how the SAT tests your speed and accuracy, not just your knowledge, and it's also, about your speed and stuff.
I like how you said that it prepares us for the world, because it's true, it does. It's part of our future. And that it affects our life. That we need to prepare for it.
On Radhika.
It was very SAT centered, so you focused on one topic, which was like helpful to me because I understand some people. For example, me understand stuff better when it's focused on one thing rather than.
So is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing for me.
And also, I liked how you gave advice, but like not to cram and what to do when studying. That was good.
Okay, how much mark Radhika got from you to you?
Me, I give myself a 7.5.
Okay. Round it off to 8.
Okay.
No fractions, yeah.
I gave her
Otherwise, you will give 7.52 and all that.
I gave her a 9.5. So
9.5. You want to make it 9 or 10? Fast!
9.
Okay.
I gave her 9.
9.
9.
9. Okay. And for Sanjana?
Me,
I give 9.
9.
6.
9.
You're really harsh.
8.
For Rami, I gave 10.
8.
8.
10.
With Tisha, I gave 8.
8.
I give 9.
5.
You two are really harsh on yourselves.
But
Those two.
Very. You guys are really good.
So he's first?
Radhika is first.
I thought Ramya was. She had a bunch of 10s.
Yeah, wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't thinking it.
Maybe.
I just said my numbers.
I'm good. Did you both give her 10s? Then yeah, you got the highest.
You gave matter of fact. Actually, there is nothing which you contributed to the article from your side. Correct? You know why did I ask you to write this? Because you started reading it. You just read the first sentence. First 2 sentences. You started reading, I asked you to do it, right? Because this is what will not happen when somebody writes if they are not very good in writing. You read.
Up until now in our discussions of the SAT reading test, most of the question types we've examined have focused on taking things, sentences, paragraphs, ideas, apart and examining them closely for their meaning or for their rhetorical purposes or effect. Synthesis questions on the reading test, by contrast, focus mainly on putting information and ideas together into a bigger whole.
It's not information alone.
And ideas.
You remember the first class what we discussed?
Information and ideas.
Ideas. The whole SAT started discussing about information and ideas. Correct? So you gave information. What you didn't give? Ideas. I asked you to critically analyze SAT, and then automatically when you analyze, what you will do? You will give your ideas. That's why one paragraph should be on. Probably the whole thing can be summarized into one paragraph, and the second paragraph should be your contribution, your ideas. And there you wrote it as a third person, talking about SAT as a senior man. She wrote it as it is we. And she started, what's the first sentence? Read it.
I believe that the
I believe. You understood? So her perspective is there. She also put her perspective. Actually, when I write an article, all of you are in SAT, but when I ask you to write, it is not for you alone. it should be generic. So write, this is what it is, and write, this is what we mean. Or maybe critically analyze, as she said. Then there is something to synthesize. If everybody would have been like you, only matter of fact, where is synthesis? No. So idea should be there. Don't write anything if only for information. Add ideas. Even when somebody writes a paper for a conference, information conferences are never accepted. They will not even invite you for a conference. Because everybody knows. Most of the people knows what is SAT, right? Or you can go to Wikipedia. You don't have to read your article. Why are you writing article? Because you are putting your views, ideas, suggestions, criticism. Okay. Next paragraph. Read that.
Also, in contrast to questions in the information and ideas and rhetoric categories, synthesis questions appear only with selected passages, either paired passages.
Selected passages. So there has to be multiple ideas coming.
Either paired passages or passages with one or more informational graphics. Questions in this category are of two main types. 1. Analyzing multiple texts. Making connections between topically related history/social studies or science passages.
So where do you give history for your SAT exam? Assume you wanted to give.
In history.
Hmm?
In articles that may contain history.
In the reading section. With the passages.
Do you know how many people are appearing for SAT exam? I told you, that's facts and figures. What should be there?
Facts and figures.
Facts and figures. If all the people who are writing SAT are qualified, do you have to worry about exam?
No.
Why are you worried?
Because we're not
Because some people
qualified.
don't qualify.
Yeah, that is a competitive exam. There are 1,000 people appearing, only 500 get admission. Got it? So you must know how many people are writing SAT exam. And it's also important, getting admission in any college is not important. That anybody may get. Your idea is to get, you remember the first day? What did I ask you?
College.
Which college you want to? You were not there?
I was there.
You were there? Okay. Which college you want to get admission?
I don't know yet.
No, you should know. I keep asking in India. You don't travel in public transport. But assume you are getting into a bus and the conductor comes and asks you where you want to go. You say, I don't know. What you will do?
Okay.
He'll ask you, get out. Because you should know where are you going, right? Understood? You go to a cinema theatre, there is multiplex. They will ask you which movie you want. I don't know. Will they give you a ticket?
No.
So you should know. So you are writing SAT, you must know where you want to go. And where you should aim. Aim in the best university, right? With the full fellowship. Will you get fellowship?
I hope so.
Yeah. Wait, what's fellowship?
Scholarship.
Oh, scholarships. I was like,
Will you get full scholarship?
I'm going to aim for it. I'm going to aim for it.
Yeah. See, based on your merit, I'm sure they will give you scholarship. Assume that you get first rank in SAT, the topmost in this. Definitely you will get free education. Yeah.
Analyzing multiple texts, making connections between topically related history/social studies or science passages. 2. Analyzing quantitative information.
Quantitative information. I told you before coming itself. What is quantity? How many are writing? Last year how many got? What was the top mark? Is it possible to get 100 out of 100? In SAT exam, is there a possibility to get full marks? Got it? What could be the percentile? What is the percentage? You know the difference? Write down. When you don't know the words, you must write down. Then you can go and find out what is the difference. Otherwise, how do you remember percentage and percentile?
Percentage would be like what percentage you got on the test, but percentile is like where you place between people who are the same demographic.
You may get 98 percentage, but assume all of you got a 98 percentage.
So you rank as a low percentile.
Your rank is not that great, right?
Average.
So somebody feel I got 100 percentage. Next question will be percentile. There are 1,000 people wrote and 100 of them got 100 percentage. Finished, no?
Your average.
Your chance becomes less. So percentile is generally computed for admissions in competitive exams, not percentage alone. Maybe a year examination is very tough and all people got only 75, below 75. Still it's okay. You also got 75 only. But percentile wise, how many people are below you, how many people are above you? That determines your percentile. So admissions are not based on percentage, it's based on percentile. Okay.
Locating data in informational graphics such as tables, graphs, and charts. Drawing reasonable conclusions from such graphics, and integrating information displayed graphically with information and ideas in a passage.
I'm sure you must not have never read a paragraph like this in your life. Critically looking at, analyzing, discussing. Right? We have been doing it. I have seen the video. Whenever she was reading, I was in between interrupting. No, generally it's not that acceptable to anyone. But you must have that habit of re-looking at it, thinking about it, analyzing yourself. Anything when you read, so that you will never forget. That will be inside you fully. Right? If I ask you to brief this, you must be able to do it. Only when you read like this, you will be able to do it. So even if I am not asking, you must start asking questions. That's what I want. I want all of you to start asking questions or maybe explaining each one of them like this. Yeah.
Each of these types is discussed in more detail in the following sections. Analyzing multiple texts. Each administration of the reading test includes one set of 2 topically related passages on a subject in either history/social studies or science. These pairings are chosen carefully to ensure that the passages are similar enough that meaningful connections can be drawn between the two. The 2 passages may present opposing positions on the same issue, but it's more likely that the second passage will respond to the first in some more general way. The second passage may, for instance, provide a more detailed explanation of an idea that's only touched on in the first passage, or it may offer a practical application of a theoretical concept discussed in the first passage. The 2 passages will be different enough in context that you should be able to remember who said what if you read them both carefully. But, as always, you can refer to the test booklet as often times as you like and use notations such as underlines, numbers, and arrows if this will help you keep the 2 passages straight in your mind.
Got it? I was telling in the beginning, 2 qualities for a good student. What was that?
Note-taking and note-making.
Is it not the same?
Yeah.
That's it. So when you read, keep writing. Figures, numbers. I've shown you, when I wanted to make somebody's life story, what do?
Timeline.
Timeline. That's a graph. Okay? If I wanted to write for the last few years the commodity prices were increasing, immediately I will write like this. Prices are increasing. So that paragraph I can speak, right? Due to the increase in transportation. So now I can write, right? Price increased because of transportation increase cost. So you must have your own method of representing either graphics. That is, this is note taking. And when I write it, I will write in sentence. So it becomes note making. Continue.
It's an example. Okay. Here's an example.
You can give it to somebody else.
Should I read the passages?
I don't know. I think you might just have to read this though, because that's just an example of how the passages work.
You can probably easily imagine, even before reading any of the associated questions, why these two passages might have been chosen for pairing. The two texts share a broad topical similarity, animal intelligence. But if that were all...
See, if you type note taking, note making, no? I wrote note taking, note making, DrTPS. My blog spot, there will be that. Note taking and note making is part of learning process and
Dairy milk.
maintained by people. Diary maintained by people. Yeah.
The two texts share a broad topical similarity, animal intelligence, but if that were all, it probably wouldn't be a very meaningful activity to draw connections between them. Examining more closely, we note that both passages deal with the issue of bird intelligence, although passage 1 mainly discusses New Caledonian crows, while passage 2 mainly discusses ravens. Delving more deeply still, we grasp that both passages deal to some extent with the issues of humans' response to and interpretation of animal signs of intelligence. Passage 1 is explicit about this, noting in the first 3 paragraphs that people have a tendency to see animals as thinking in human-like ways, even when simpler and perhaps more defensible explanations are possible. Passage 2 is less direct in this respect, but the author, the I in the passage, definitely shows some of that tendency with regards to his ravens. These experiments showed that ravens' curiosity ensures exposure to all or almost all items in the environment. However, the two passages are different enough. At the most basic level, one is about crows and the other is about ravens. That it's fairly easy to keep the information and ideas in each passage separate after you've read both.
Done?
Yeah.
Then?
Romeo's reading.
Where did you stop? Right here. Yeah. The question you'll find with paired passages are of two general kinds. The first consists of questions about either passage 1 or passage 2 separately. These come in order. Questions about passage 1, then questions about passage 2. And are of the same types that we discussed in chapters 6 and 7. The kind consists of the actual synthesis questions. These questions require you to draw meaningful connections between the two passages. They may ask about information and ideas in the passages or about the rhetorical strategies used in them, just like questions about single and non-paired passages. Except in these cases, you'll have to draw on an understanding of both texts to answer the questions correctly. Let's inspect two of the synthesis questions associated with the paired passages presented earlier. The crows in passage 1 and the ravens in passage 2 shared which trait? We didn't read the passage, so...
Okay.
Just skip that, right?
Okay, yeah. So just go from to recognize which trait. I think...
Every phone has got radiation. Too much of radiation for most of the phones. So when you are not using it, keep it away from your body. It's better for health. Have you seen?
Yeah. The popcorn.
Have you seen the cell vibrations when you keep the phone close to your ear?
No, but I have a friend that never talks like this. She always talks like this.
I know that I'm not supposed to keep it near the bed.
See, the cell pattern in your body, cell is, life is always with the electromagnetic energy. Anything in this world who has got electromagnetic energy in this. This is a wave which pulls the electromagnetic energy into different. So the pattern of the cell will change. The cell pattern change of one cell in your body is what is called a cancer.
Oh.
One cell changes, it will start inducing other cells also to change. So one of the biggest, that is treated again by radiation only, by killing the cell. Got it? So one of the biggest problem with not all phones have got that much radiation, but some of the phones are much radiating than the other one.
Do you know which phones have the most radiation?
Why should I say this and then put it onto YouTube?
Close the camera.
But still I will say. Most of the phones which are costing less, they don't undergo for lot of radiation. That is, radiation is there for your lights also. Otherwise this light need not, the bulb need not cost you this much. Right? But there is a coating which is given there, right? The white coat. That white coat has got some chemistry inside. When the light passes through that, if that element which makes the white color is not well tested, it may give you radiation.
So what about clear light bulbs?
No, every bulb is good, but if some bulbs, you may get for 10 rupees or maybe $10 or $5. Same item in a different company, they may be costing you $40. You may wonder why. You look, that's where I started reading. Why one is less costing, one is more costing. Then we found that they put lot of radiation test on that. The chemicals which they are using is entirely different. Got it?
With some more expensive phones.
More expensive phones. I am not saying all expensive phones are good, non-expensive are not good. But they undergo for a test. Okay. Better not to. I use lot of equipments, but you can see I don't. I always keep it aside. My PhD is in radiation. Radiation is my subject where I did my PhD. So we learned lot of, and I did lot of research on the communication mast which you have, They're all the one which captures. So if you are very close to that, if you put a tulsi plant, it will not even grow. Because that plant will not be able to sustain any small radiation also. It will die fast. Okay, continue. You're singing?
No,
Hmm.
I just don't know.
Where did you stop?
She stopped
What happened?
here, but
I was
like
just
we don't know.
asking a question
What?
about like the
paragraph I read, it was just talking about like the sequence of it, like it'll like the way the questions would be said, like the first question about passage 1, then about passage 2, then about them both together.
Is it true? Always?
True, always that.
Hmm.
It's just what it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, for the most part, they'll
Yeah.
give like separate questions. Well, like
They'll give
Cut.
like passage 1, 1, 2, 3, passage 2, 4, 5, and then
3 questions on both
them
of them.
together.
Okay.
Couple questions.
It's just about the sequence.
Analyzing quantitative information. You'll find one or more informational graphics, tables, graphs, charts, and the like accompanying one of the history/social studies passages, and also one of the science passages on the test. There will be questions about those graphics as well. These questions are of 3 general kinds, although the first 2 are fairly similar. Questions that ask you to locate information in one or more informational graphics. Questions that ask you to draw reasonable conclusions from data presented in one or more graphics. Questions that ask you to connect the information displayed in one or more graphics with the information and ideas in the accompanying passage. The main difference between the first 2 kinds is simply in how explicit the information is. Sometimes you'll be asked just to locate a particular piece of information. In other cases, you'll need to interpret the data to make a reasonable inference. This difference is analogous to the stated implied distinction we talked about previously. The third sort of question, on the other hand, will require you to understand both the passage and the graphics, and to integrate the information found in each. Let's briefly examine two different questions involving graphics. The first question is a relatively simple one requiring a straightforward reading of the graphic that accompanies a social science passage on traffic. As always, the passage, graphic, question, and answer can be found in chapter 9. Okay.
Look at the graphic.
Yeah. Title: Most congested cities in 2011.
Can you show it just for a second?
Yeah.
Which one's highlighted one?
The large city average. What claim about traffic congestion is supported by the graph?
Traffic congestion.
Is that the amount?
So what is in the x-axis? What is in the y-axis?
The x-axis is a bunch of cities.
Which are the cities?
Bunch of major cities. Washington D.C. LA.
Why DC?
Just because it's the capital. It's one of the highest ones, actually.
Why DC? The word DC.
Oh, District of Columbia. Because it's a Washington D.C. isn't
It's a
part
district.
of any state. It's a district, so
Oh.
it has its own separate voting and stuff like that.
So it's not part of any state.
No.
Okay. Which state it belongs to actually, geographically?
It's between like Virginia and
It's
Maryland. I
between
think.
no,
No,
West Virginia and
West Virginia.
Virginia.
Okay. Where was the first capital for USA?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Why it was shifted to Washington DC?
Because the North and the South had this whole thing about like,
Oh,
no, the capital has been in the North, it should be in the South, and
They
then
had to have it in
George
the
Washington
North and
was
the
just
South.
like, why don't we just put it on the Potomac River? And everyone else was like, no, let's not do that.
Why not New York?
Well,
It has to
At
be
that
between the
time, it
north
was
and the
in-
south.
yeah.
New York is way in the north because
What
the
is New
north
York is called?
New
For
York.
most of the country there are one capital, administrative capital. The next capital is called and New York is the capital for America. Not administrative. There is one other
or
capital.
the trading capital.
That is called financial capital.
financial.
Financial business
What's the other
trading.
one called?
That's what.
Administrative capital.
One is administrative capital. That is where the rulers. In India also, Delhi is the capital for administration. Prime Minister, President, everybody is there. But financial capital is Bombay. Stock market, where you are right. But stock market came there because of business or finance. So therefore, terminology is financial capital. We don't say trade capital. No.
You just thought of that because the World Trade Towers and everything. So.
Yeah, and New York's like
Yeah.
a hub for trade.
You had been there?
Yeah.
I was born nearby there. I was born on Long Island.
Okay.
Really? That's cool.
No, it's really expensive to go to or something.
I don't know. It was 13 years ago, so I don't know.
I love Times Square.
Huh?
I love Times Square. It's one of my favorite spots. Times Square
Times Square.
in New York.
I haven't been in a long time. I think I went there when I was like 2 or 3.
You didn't go to New York?
I went when I was very little, so I don't have.
Okay, I went 2 weeks back.
Did you go to Times Square in the night?
No. Instead of that, I went to Ramakrishna Math at night. Vedanta Society. I had 2 options. Yeah. So, next city? Los Angeles. Famous for?
Hollywood.
Yeah. Next.
San Francisco.
What for?
Bay Area.
Beaches.
San Francisco Bay Area. And the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay. Then?
New York City, which is finance.
Yeah.
Boston, which is
That's
for
where
Harvard.
Marathon.
Oh, and
MIT.
the marathon.
MIT.
MIT. That too.
Academics.
Yeah.
You see, how is it? I did not go and see what are all the cities, But when you said Washington DC itself, I expected all the cities must have been with some importance. Otherwise, nobody will go there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The next one is a very large city average.
See, why am I able to tell like this? Because anything which I read, I keep analyzing. There is a reason for listing it.
Houston.
What is Houston?
Houston is in Texas. It was the name of the capital came after one of the leaders in the Texas
Mexican
Texas Revolution of Mexico.
What is that?
America wanted Texas, Mexico wanted Texas.
Not America. America didn't want it. America
I
didn't
think
want it.
IT must be in
Well,
Houston,
that's
right? Information technology, computers and all that.
I'm not sure.
No?
I think maybe.
It's a pretty big city, so
That's
it
what
would
I'm
be there.
saying.
Yeah.
Mostly I
It's
think
a
huge
that's what I heard.
And it has like really twisting roads. Next one is very large city average. Next one is Atlanta, which is popular for
Georgia.
it's Georgia's capital,
Yeah.
and because it has a lot of peach farms. And then on top of that, there was the whole
Isn't there a huge
March to the
technology?
Sea thing in the Civil War, which burnt down the entire.
But isn't
Atlanta.
there like a huge technological like hub there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of
Atlanta.
companies headquarters
It's
there.
like a
Yeah.
technological.
Chicago.
That's
The one building. What's
the
it called?
Bean
The
and,
Bean. There's that one really, really tall building. That
and
used to
Sears
be called
Tower.
The Sears Tower. Wait, is it the Sears Tower?
I'm pretty sure it's the
That's in
Sears Tower.
Washington.
Yeah.
Sears
I don't know. I know the top is
Oh.
called the Sky Deck because we went.
That's
last
the Sears Tower. Never mind.
Yeah,
That's
so
in Chicago.
Washington. doesn't
Next
have
one
a
is
huge
Philadelphia.
That's
It's the
for
first
Bean,
constitutional
yeah.
convention, second constitutional
It has
convention.
It's
a
That
lot
was
of
the capital,
historical.
It was the,
It has
Philadelphia
a lot
was the
of
capital.
It was the capital.
That's the history.
Capital.
And it has the maybe the
The
oldest
Liberty
universities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has a lot of historical importance.
lot of
Next
history.
one is Seattle, which
It's in
It's a pretty
Or-
big financial
Seattle's
thing
in
too.
Washington.
Washington, yeah.
But it's a pretty big
It
financial
had
hub
the
too, right?
giant tower as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Needles.
Seattle
The
has
needle,
got a lot
the
of
needle.
capitals for mini business.
Yeah.
It's a business capital.
Miami.
Miami
Dallas.
Beach.
Beach. Yeah.
Rich people will
Tourist,
stay
yeah.
there. All the cinema stars will be there.
Where's
right?
Silicon Valley?
Silicon Valley,
It's in
California.
California, yeah. Death Valley.
Dallas, Fort
Is it near
Worth.
Death Valley?
It's
No,
more
it's
popular
near
city in
Death
Texas.
Yeah, it's near Death Valley.
Yeah.
Detroit.
Next.
Detroit, car manufacturing.
San
San Diego.
That's
Tourist
No.
Clubs.
Clubs.
Rich people will
What
go
is
there.
that? Poker.
Phoenix.
Have some
gamble.
houses.
Huh?
Gamble.
Phoenix,
Arizona's
Arizona's capital.
See, you would not have analyzed this data like this. No?
No.
You will only look at figures. Don't do that. See, when you do this, now you will remember. You don't even have to see. You know, these are all the major cities and therefore there are population. So no questions are prepared by giving some XYZ place names. There is a reason for setting up a question, right?
Las Vegas.
So you know the logic behind how is it working.
But Las Vegas is more of a tourist destination. It's mainly just tourists. And it's casinos and gambling, not.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
not official stuff.
gambling.
like
in
official
San Diego.
important.
There's also gambling and casinos.
Now, if you don't go
But it's like the
And
gambling
beaches.
not for gambling, people go with the money, you know.
clubbing, gambling.
Clubbing.
Yeah,
That's where
all.
money is.
I like
There are
that
people
in
who
Las
make a lot
Vegas.
of money out of.
There's also a lot of people who lose a lot of money.
And it's like a ritual.
Yeah.
The other day I was telling in Shabarimala, when you go, somebody will give money and we have to give it to the temple. And somebody goes there, people will give money. You invest for me. If you get it, you give it to me. Otherwise, let it go.
Yeah, Anusha Didi told me
Yeah,
about
she was
that.
telling me.
Okay. What kind of traffic congestion is supported by the graph? A. NYC commuters spend less time annually delayed by traffic congestion than the average for very large cities. Nope.
Can I
B,
just like pick this up and like
yeah. Sorry. B. Los Angeles commuters are delayed more hours annually by traffic congestion than commuters in Washington D.C. No. Commuters in Washington D.C. face greater delays annually due to traffic congestion than commuters in NYC. Yes. Commuters in Detroit spend more time delayed annually by traffic congestion than
Poor
commuters
Columbus, Indiana.
than these two Atlantic.
It's not in the list.
Detroit.
It's
No.
known for its
that's
architecture.
C.
Columbus.
Let's see. This one is very self-explanatory.
It says you can choice C. Sorry.
The second question requires more genuine
genuine synthesis, as you'll have genuine, as you'll have
Genie synthesis. That's your genuine nature. That's it.
as you'll have to understand both the passage and the graphic to get the question right. Because of this, we'll quote the most relevant bit from the passage and then follow that with the graphic. In a real testing situation, you'd have to find this portion of the passage on your
Nice
own.
to see the video in between Sanjana. Lord Krishna used to show them all, to show the whole world.
Yeah, when he ate the mud.
I don't even know why.
He is trying to induce sleepiness in both of you. She is not.
Okay. Putman works in a lab of Ken Lawman, who's been studying the magnetic ability of loggerheads.
So this is done?
Huh?
You are happy? You know how to analyze it?
Yeah. This
See,
one.
what is the advantage? You cannot compare. If at all somebody would have told this in terms of number of vehicles, the traffic jam which is happening in 1 year, no, the waiting time which is required, all that will not be good enough to explain this so easily. So the graph represents nicely, correct? Comparing, looking at the data, everything becomes very simple from this. So that's the advantage of graph, comparison, visualizing, analyzing.
No qualitative
And
data.
deriving some conclusions out of it. Now if somebody asks you, how do you compare this city to this city, you can just do that, right?
Yeah.
Simple to compare. Yeah. Good.
In his lab in the University of North Carolina, Lawman places hatchlings in a large water tank surrounded by a large grid of electromagnetic coils. Magnetic coils.
Just now I made a statement, electromagnetic.
When you make a coil that runs on electricity and has a magnetic field.
Every electrical field has got a magnetic field. Every magnetic field has got an electric field.
That's how magnets
You can induce electricity by moving the magnet very fast on a coil.
In 1991, he found that the babies started swimming in the opposite direction if they used the coils to reverse the direction of the magnetic field around them. They could use the field as a compass to get their bearing. Okay. Adapted from Ed Yong, turtles use the Earth's magnetic field as a global GPS. Copyright 2011 by Calmatch Publishing Company. Orientation of hatchling loggerheads tested in magnetic fields. Orientation of hatchling loggerheads tested in a magnetic field that simulates position at the west side of the Atlantic near Puerto Rico left, and a position at the east side of the Atlantic near Cape Verde Islands right. The arrow in each circle indicates the mean direction that the group of hatchlings swam. Data are plotted relative to geographic north, n equals 0 degrees.
What is the north which they said?
N equals 0 degrees. So that would be that, no. It would be this north, right?
Which is north?
There's two norths. There's a magnetic north and there's a geographic north.
What is geographic north?
Geographic north is north. No, that's magnetic north.
Oh yeah.
Geographic north is when the earth is like straight, so it's somewhere like off the edge, like off the side of magnetic north. Magnetic north is like here and geographic north is like here.
Is that two norths or only one north?
There's two norths.
I don't know.
There's two norths.
Two norths or only one north?
Well,
I think 1 north.
2.
What is north definition?
It's the
Where's the
northernmost
North
point.
Pole? The North Pole? Because in a compass it'll...
Don't talk about magnet now. That's gone. No magnet. Now what is north?
Up.
The
Who said it is up?
topmost-
Forward.
Up.
Because you hang the map like this, it is up. If you keep it on the ground,
A direction.
which direction is north?
Forward.
Where is east?
Right.
That way.
No, right.
The way in which the sun rises.
Right.
Yeah. So what is east? Where sun rises. So where is north?
Where it
Where
sets.
when the sun is at its
To
highest
the to the
You look at the sun. Your left side
90
is
degrees,
north
90 degrees
and
left,
right side is south.
90 degrees left of where the sun rises.
You understood?
Yeah.
That's how
Wait,
geographic
left side
north is
is
decided. See, if this is east, okay, this is north.
Mm-hmm.
Fine? And this is
South.
south. Write N and S and W there. This is called a true north or geographic north. There are 3 norths.
3?
Ah.
Oh, jeez.
This north is called a true north because it is true to sun.
Wait, which one is true north?
Huh?
Which one is true north?
Where is true north? Where is the sun
True
rises?
to the sun.
Due to sun, where is it rising? That is called the
True north.
true north. Hmm? But that's not good enough. You must know where the magnet is. You will have a magnet in your mobile
There's a
also sometimes.
compass app.
Compass also is there, right? So it will tell you magnetic north. That is fixed for long time. It doesn't change. North pole and south pole will not change that easily. But it may change over millions of years. I told you, no? The forgetfulness of earth and all I was explaining, right? Yeah,
But does it like change slowly by then?
that will change slowly. But this true north will change very fast. Why? Earth has got an equator and earth tilts 23.5 degree up and down. North and south, right? Don't you know this?
What?
Burn equinox.
The equinox, yeah.
You have 23.5 degree. It goes in the winter and summer. Is coming because of the sun is close to earth or not.
Yeah.
Got it? So if America is, you are in the
West.
north, above equator,
North hemisphere.
north hemisphere. So when you are on the north hemisphere, the sun is 23.5 degree, you will get summer. When the sun is in the southern hemisphere, the distance to your place becomes more, therefore it becomes too cold. That is why the December, where is sun with respect to earth? It is in the southern hemisphere in December. September 21st onwards, it is below the equator. Don't you know this? Do you know or don't do like this? Say
Summer and winter.
Is it like
Do you know this?
Summer and winter.
Yeah. So summer and winter is because of the sun shifting. Now you say where sun is rising, that is east. Therefore, March to September you will see sun moving. So where is your north? Assume somebody says my house is east facing. What east facing? Which day you should ask? Now you can ask, right? Go and ask your parents.
Yeah, because the sun.
House is facing east. Exactly in the east we can see sun rising. You should ask which day.
The only reason, the only way you could say.
Do you know there are people who believes that my opening of the door should be east, and therefore they build the house on a wheel and rotate every day. Yeah, it's there.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Wow.
I'm not joking.
That's awesome. Okay.
So if you are
Because your sunlight should come to your bedroom straight every day, say. and you constructed a house like this.
That way?
Hmm?
Wouldn't you want your windows facing that
But
way?
not possible. There is only one place where in the world, we have got a beautiful place in Delhi where the shadow of the sunlight is depicted to see the month. So you keep in front of your house a stick and see the shadow mark from January to December. You will know where the sun is. That's how the directions are set. So you will see east moving up and down. You can do that from March to September. You will see a 60 degree change. And the another one is, these are all with respect to Earth. How do a ship moves with respect to a star? Okay, so with respect to the star, there is a north.
North Pole. The North Star.
So that is called grid north. So there is a true north, there is a magnetic north, there is a grid north. Look at different north, then you will learn. Okay?
So grid north is following a star?
Star, yeah. So
then just north is the pole, and then true north is the sun, and then great north is the star.
is the star with respect to star. Yeah. Because all the ship movement, satellite movement and all is based on the space north, but not on the earth north. Yeah.
Wait, so if it's hot during the winter, then
Hot during the
the
summer.
Wait, why
I know, but like, 'cause
why
like
doesn't the
December
ocean?
was
Why don't the
hotter
ships
than
use the
usual.
magnetic
Like, I mean, all it
north?
did was
Magnetic
rain, like,
north is not what they want because
Technically, the
there could be
coldest
some
month of the
problems
year is
on
supposed to be
magnetism.
February.
I know.
In
but
the ocean?
Before it used to be like
Currents,
December, January,
electromagnetic
February.
radiation
Those were always
may
cold.
change,
But
may
slowly it's
twist.
been changing.
And
Like
you
the
are not-
weather's been like all crazy this year.
You are not
right?
looking for directions
it's
just
still
based on
cold
the
outside.
north and south. Anywhere you go, north and south, if you move parallelly, north and south only you can move. East and west direction
like
setting
south
becomes
of the
difficult.
Yeah, and it's like still really cold.
That is possible at the equator. You have
When
north here,
technically
east is here. But when you
August
go
is
somewhere else,
the hottest month.
you want to go in the other direction, it becomes very difficult. Latitude wise, it keeps changing fast. Yeah.
She has.
What is that question?
Really?
Tell me, advocate.
I
Yeah.
just
Throw sunshine
Okay,
under the
so
bus.
this year, I mean, like, it used to be really, like, my parents used to tell me about how they used to have, like, blizzard stuff here, like, all, like, 4 months of winter, like, December, January, February.
Mm.
And now it's become hotter. So is, like, the orbit changing, or is it just the weather's just weird?
See, major change in the temperature will be there. But because of the temperature change, the cloud will go up. Therefore, there could be a rain. Therefore, there could be a small difference in the average. If you take summer is summer, winter is winter. There could be slight variations based on local area. But as a whole, it could change. One reason. Second reason, the proximity to the sea will change the climate, the weather. Got it? Because when you are close to sea, altitude, all that can vary. This is on an average in a latitude. What will happen? In higher latitude, what will happen? Lower latitude, what will happen? That is why the poles are always frozen 6 months. No sunlight also. Because the sun goes to the other direction, there is no sunlight in the pole. When the sun goes to the north, south pole, there will be no sunlight. So here you have more daylight, less night. Pole, 4 months dark. The daylight will be only 2-3 hours. Very good, no? You can shift the house from whenever dark night is more, you go and stay there. The next 6 months, go and sleep there. Yeah. Done? So what is that? This stands for? What is this question?
This one's about,
What is the data here? What is to be analyzed?
something about hammerhead sharks and magnetic. How they find north, and they have the GPS inside them based on magnetic. something.
We haven't read the question. Yeah.
Read.
Okay, orientation of hatchling loggerheads tested in a magnetic field that simulates position at the west side of the Atlantic near Puerto Rico left, and a position on the east side of the Atlantic near Cape Verde Islands right. The arrow in each circle indicates the mean direction that the group of hatchlings swam. Data are plotted relative to geographic north, n equals 0.
You have to read the question.
Wait,
It can be-
geographical is pole?
It's
Yeah.
magnetic. Poles are
Yeah,
magnetic.
pole. Yeah.
It can be reasonably inferred from the passage and the graphic that if scientists adjusted the coils to reverse the magnetic field, simulating that in the East Atlantic, Cape Verde Islands, the hatchling would most likely swim in which direction? 210.
Northwest.
No, northeast. Northeast.
Oh yes, nice. Oh yeah.
Other.
I was thinking it's southwest east instead of east west.
Done? Understood?
Mm.
Yeah. Next. Yeah. Success. But not that.
Was the northeast?
Just put tape on.
Best answer choice is B, which is northeast. Here you go.
While the first question we examined was just about finding some information in a graphic, this question...
Do you know why is it called 2HP?
The lead?
The darkness. Her pencil when you buy, you must check what HP you are buying.
Yeah. H is how dark and P is lighter, right?
Yeah. The thickness. And the 3 HP. 1 HP. You must
4 HP
ask
is
for
like
the
dark.
pencil exactly what is that you want.
4 HP is
100 varieties of pencils are there.
most writing.
I have like 3 of these sketching pencils based on this. This is 5B.
Yeah, you must mark it and then see which one you want to buy.
Yeah, sketching.
I have a set of 3 for that. Different.
Yeah.
This question requires multiple steps involving both a passage and a graphic. We know from the passage that loggerhead turtle hatchlings in a specially constructed tank in Ken Lohman's lab will start swimming in the opposite direction if the direction of the magnetic field around them is reversed. From the graphic and its accompanying caption, we learn, among other things, that geographic north on the diagram is represented by 0 degrees, and that loggerhead hatchlings swimming in a magnetic field simulating that of a position in the East Atlantic Ocean near the Cape Verde Islands will normally move in a southwesterly direction, around 218 degrees. Putting these bits of information together, we can reasonably infer that if the magnetic field affecting these East Atlantic turtles were reversed, the hatchlings would also reverse direction, swimming in a northeasterly direction. The best answer choice here, then, is choice B. As you can tell, questions involving graphics can sometimes get complicated, but the basic set of knowledge and skills you'll apply is the same as you'd use with any other question on the reading test. Read carefully, figure out what the author says directly and indirectly, and, when necessary, draw reasonable conclusions supported by textual evidence.
So if I give you a text, you must be able to put that into graph. And then some questions could be there where you have to answer. We'll do 1 or 2 examples next time. Okay? Yeah.
The last of the 3 categories of reading test questions, synthesis includes just 2 main types: analyzing multiple texts and analyzing quantitative information. However, as the sample suggests, there's a lot of variety in these sorts of questions, and they can range from relatively simple and straightforward to quite complex. Even when you encounter the most difficult ones, though, you should proceed calmly and thoughtfully. The knowledge and skills these questions call on are fundamentally the same as those needed for any other questions on the test. In the end, it's all about reading closely, making use of textual evidence, and drawing supportable conclusions when needed.
Done?
There's one last
Do you want us to read the recap?
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, you're reading that.
Oh, yeah.
Did I read
You can again recap if you want.
No, I thought.
You first take the cap off and then again recap.
Yeah, here.
Yeah. Now you read.
Chapter 5 to Chapter 8 have covered the content of SAT reading test in quite a bit of detail. The next chapter will present sample passages and questions along with detailed explanations of how the answer for each question was reached and why the alternatives were not as good as the indicated answer. Some of the material in the preceding 4 chapters will be presented again, but additional passages and questions are included as well.
speed read?
What is your speed of reading?
I don't know.
You must check.
I remember. I don't know.
How many words per minute? And do you know the average ability of ear and the brain to process number of words?
No.
150 words. And you read 75, 60. That's it.
Out loud or mentally? Out loud or mentally?
Both could be same.
Is one like tended to be?
Hmm?
Is one tended to be faster than the other? Like I guess that mentally.
Mentally a lot faster.
Yeah, that's how I think so too.
Mentally, I read so much slower. Like
Reading out loud.
The last.
You must listen to the interview of Shashi Tharoor, the parliamentarian from Thiruvananthapuram. He was
Shashi Tharoor. How do you spell
Deputy General Secretary, Tharoor, Tharoor. You will see beautiful. He is one of the most best educated politician in India.
that?
You never heard him? Huh? Yeah, you must hear, okay? I keep listening to him.
How does he talk?
20 days.
See,
What?
She said happy birthday and gave me that book. I
See.
said it was in 20 days.
want to listen to him?
June 29th.
He contested for Union General Secretary post.
President and gentlemen, ladies
I've
of the House,
seen him. I've heard him. Yeah.
I, standing here with 8 minutes in my hands and this venerable and rather magnificent institution, I was going to assure you that I belong to the Henry VIII School of Public Speaking, that as Henry VIII said to his wives, I shall not keep you long. But now finding myself the 7th speaker out of 8 in what must already seem a rather long evening to you, I rather feel like Henry VIII's last wife. I more or less know what's expected of me, but I'm not sure how to do it any differently. Perhaps what I should do is really try and pay...
We were together in a few places. On this speech, I made one comment. That also must be there somewhere. He is talking about how Britishers should repay the damages which they made, and Jallianwala Bagh. Heard this? Jallianwala Bagh? No. Do you know what's Jallianwala Bagh?
No.
Britishers killed a lot of Indians.
Was it the one where they were all in a circle and they shot them all
Yeah,
down?
yeah,
That
yeah.
was...
Yeah. Punjab. Somewhere it must be there. So, in which he is asking Britishers to repay
How? They kill lives.
for
How
the
do you repay
penalty.
lives?
Not that word
What
of
they
payment,
do.
but at least they should create a museum commemorating that in.
Did they?
Huh?
Did they?
No,
They didn't.
they didn't.
Why?
But they gave a sorry.
Oh, that's it.
But she is not a prime minister now. She left yesterday. See, this is mine. Cue from Dr. Tharu. So I took cue from that and then made my video. Death of Thousands, Memory of 100 Years, Waiting for
Gentlemen,
One
ladies
Sorry.
of the House,
That's the title which I gave.
standing here with 8 minutes in my hands and
Death
this
of Thousands.
venerable and rather magnificent institution, I was going to
Memory of
assure
100
you
years.
that I belong to the Henry VIII
Because it
School of
happened
Public
exactly
Speaking.
100 years back.
That as Henry VIII
And
said
what-
to his
waiting for one
wives,
sorry.
I shall not keep you long.
You must know how to give
But now finding myself,
this.
the seventh speaker out of 8 in what must already seem a rather long evening to you, I rather feel like Henry VIII's last wife. I more or less know what's expected of me, but I'm not sure how to do it any differently. Let me say with the greatest possible respect, it's a bit rich to oppress, enslave, kill, torture, maim people for 200 years and then celebrate the fact that they're democratic at the end
You know
of it.
how many books he reads per year? 365 books.
One per day.
Every day he will finish one book.
He.
With being a politician, being a bureaucrat, going for public lectures, he will read every day one book. Great reader. I joined it during the program. I ended the program with the document.
We were denied democracy, sir. We had to snatch it, seize it from you.
So what you
With
should
the
do is
greatest reluctance, it was conceded in India's case
Listen
after
to
150 years of it.
such lectures. See, what I have done is I picked up numbers from there, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So that number is attractive. So I will be able to recollect. Jallianwala Bagh happened 100 years back. There were thousands of people died. And what is the essence of the lecture? One sorry from Britain.
Apparently, Britain didn't even teach about the American Revolutionary War. Like, my friend, when she was there, she used to learn.
British rule, and that too with limited French. A proposition before this House is the
And it wasn't even mentioned in textbooks.
Britishers
Nobody
don't
knows about it.
read history.
They don't.
Yes, they haven't even.
Because they have to read history, they have to read the history of the whole world.
Pretend like it never happened.
Because they ruled the whole world, right?
Yeah.
It will be too much. Therefore, they don't.
Because they had stuff everywhere.
Yeah,
stuff.
they
Sun
ruled the
never
whole world at one point.
principle of owing reparations, not.
And in his speech, Mr.
His son never saw in the British Empire.
Yeah.
The son
Actually, when they did go there, they brought all the diamonds.
Because the sun never set in the British Empire.
Because it was
So
all
big.
of
But it wasn't a big issue. This was the topic dreamed up by the.
But then it would rise there, so it would never set because it was.
Oh. Yeah. I think about an actual person, like the sun never set.
No, the sun never set on the empire because it was all around the world.
Yeah.
So on this side and on this side. So if it
Yeah.
be on both sides at one point, just there was never a time where it didn't have. I mean, I'm sure there was, but like.
What to reduce?
Faster.
Size of this?
It's actually tiny.
So how is Raju now? Today, more energetic?
He's
After 2 days of retreat?
okay.
Huh? No change?
I think
What?
I'll just leave it there.
Why?
I mean, he's excited, I guess.
Why?
Because he liked the program.
There's no match. Oh, there is. Never mind.
Wait, what did you have from 9 to
I
12
have a
today?
question. You said
What
global
did you
warming
have
is
from
not
9 to
real
12 today?
because carbon
Oh, I was
dioxide
volunteering.
is supposed to be good for the plants. What about carbon monoxide?
It's not good. It's very
So-
hazardous.
So then, isn't global warming real because of the carbon monoxide going into the atmosphere?
But Earth is so live, and there is no real warming happening. There are many places in the world where there were desert. They started getting rain. The glacier picture which they have shown in the Inconvenient Truth movie is totally wrong.
Why? Why are the glaciers melting then?
It's melting some places, but some places it's increasing.
Really?
It keeps on changing. Some area where there was total barren land, like a desert in Gulf and all, they started getting small plants.
So like there's
So
no
don't
problem
look
with
at
the ozone layer and
How
stuff.
do you know
Actually,
that
ozone
those
layer
are
has
nutrients?
nothing to do with the global warming.
It doesn't?
That's only radiation. A specific ray of radiation will come, and it's not depleting that much, because any carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide in the cloud, it needs lot of water vapor to get densified and then less movement. That only can make the earth temperature more. Once the cloud is too heavy, definitely it cannot stay, it will rain. So the rain becomes
So then how is like the America benefiting from this global warming?
yeah,
hoax?
because they made a rule saying that no, the research in global warming should be popularized, and a lot of people should get into such research, and they want a lot of new equipments which America manufactures to be sold in different countries.
Oh.
So you keep saying all your vehicles are old, you cannot use it. Use this piston, then the vehicle will become good. And India, they thrown out all the bulbs, and then they started importing bulbs from different countries. Right? So the local manufacturing is killed. A lot of industries were killed.
How do you know that the stories about the rain coming in barren deserts and those little plants coming up are true?
See, because Earth itself is a live Earth, and we only occupy very, very little space on Earth.
But aren't we killing like rainforest so much, and like
Yeah.
See,
the
yeah.
Sahara Desert is also expanding, and the Amazon is.
See, there are the whole world, if you look at it, any harm which you do is only very little as far as the Earth is concerned. Because Earth is so big, so vast.
But we're almost everywhere,
yeah.
No.
right? Except for the poles.
77% of the Earth is in water now.
Really? Oh,
Ocean
the
is
water
more.
counts, yeah.
Correct? And the climate is not controlled by Earth. Climate is always, I was just telling you, the summer may not be that hot because your proximity to the sea will decide. And somebody started telling earlier, when you don't have forest, if you cut forest, you will not get rain. So a local person who was doing business, he said, go and see the sea. Heavy rain is there, but there are no forests in the sea. Correct? Because the temperature increases, water vapor will go up. When water vapor goes up, definitely it has to come back as rain. If temperature is increasing, what will increase? Rain will increase. So when rain increases, again temperature will come down. And all the mathematical predictions of global warming says 2050 the temperature rise will be 3 degrees, 4 degrees. That's all, not more than that.
So there'll be more rain also?
Let there be 4 degree or 5 degree or 6 degree increase. What is the temperature in winter in America, which you have here?
In the 50s.
Huh?
2030.
Winter.
Like winter 20 degrees is like the average.
And summer, the
60s, 70s.
so what is the variation in 6 months?
50
Huh?
Huh?
What is the variation of temperature in 6 months?
50
50 degrees. So if 50 degree variations you are able to survive in 6 months, don't you think 4 degree variation in 30 years you cannot survive? So what is the big problem?
What about long-term
You understood what I am asking?
Yeah.
See, you are saying every 6 months you have a variation of 20 degrees. In India we have 40 degree variation. In Delhi it goes to -4 degrees Celsius, and summer it could be 44 degree. So 48 degree, say 40 degree variation in 6 months time. So is it a great deal after the 30 years you have got a 4 degree variation?
No.
We will all get accustomed. But what is more today is,
The environment.
no,
Plastic
you
and
people are taken birth in an air condition. You are living in a controlled condition. Therefore, you will not be able to survive if there is small difference, because you are so protected. Got it?
But the air conditioner will still be there. Right?
See, in my life, I have taken bath in the coldest season in the coldest water, the hottest season in the hottest water. I don't use any heater, or I'm not very comfortable in air condition. Without air condition, I'm good. Even if it is chill weather or in hot summer also, I'm not.
I'm okay with hot. I'm not okay with cold.
That's why, because you have been brought up like that.
I'm okay with cold. I'm not okay with hot.
Same. I can't. I just love cold.
No, and I lived in
The
India.
beauty of the body is, from your body temperature, if there is 5 degree, 6 degree more temperature outside, you will feel more hot. But if 20 degree less also, you can survive. Check your own. The outside temperature is 5 degree more than your body temperature, you will feel it's too hot. But if it is 10 or 20 degree less also, you will feel okay.
That's, yeah. What happened to your thumb?
I keep cutting, I'll keep doing something, so it got cut. It's only 2 days. Cured, no? Cut is part of my life. Keeps on cutting here and there. Because I won't keep quiet. I'll keep doing something or other. Happy? No global warming or global warming?
No glowworm.
Yeah.
I told my brother, and he was like,
You will not, most of the people don't agree. But what you should do is human thermodynamics. If somebody argues, you ask them to read human thermodynamics. There is another topic called human thermodynamics. That will explain. People keep saying it's too hot, it's too hot, it's too hot. Therefore everybody will feel too hot. And it's too cold, everybody will. If she keeps it like this, you will also feel, yeah, something wrong. You will also keep like this. But if she says, doesn't matter. And you want to change your temperature, if it is hot or cold, what you do in our childhood? Hold your hands like this, rub it. Now, easily keep it in your place. You will not know the outside temperature. Because this is your antenna. This will tell you whether your body is hot or cold. Each one of you have a different temperature. You can change it by doing this. Then you will not know.
so if it's hot outside,
Hot or cold.
so if you put like earmuffs or something on your ears, you won't
Yeah,
feel it?
nothing will happen. That is why most of the time what I do is, I've got a towel, keep tying myself. Always I use a towel and tie. So I don't care what is the temperature outside. This is my style. I'm always like this. Have you seen? In Kerala most of the people do this. In all the places, the farmers will do this. Got it? Yeah. So they can work in summer or winter, anywhere. Nothing will happen. Because you are closing your...
Your
Yes. That's it. Now I will not know the temperature, whether it is hot or cold. It doesn't matter. Ritisha? Ritish. So nobody is coming to pick you up today? Who is smart? You are smart?
What?
Smart?
I don't know.
You should say yes, I am smart.
Yes, I'm smart.
Nobody's coming.
I don't know, I just texted my mom.
You forgot.
Yeah, again.
Okay. Now what do you do during that time?
I couldn't
Learn
remember.
more about quantum tunneling.
Okay, bye.
Your face is like this. I didn't draw this. This round was there. But what you should do is, you should do like this. No. Don't do like this. That is her face. So what do you do? I'll draw another one. You should do like this. So this is also mathematics. Is it not? A circle with a, this is part of an arc, right? If the center is here and the center is on top, that's only the difference. This reverse this. Just reverse it, you can make happy into
Sad.
sad. So it's only the center of focus. You want to be happy or sad?
Happy.
So shift from here to here. क्या सोच रहा है?
कुछ भी नहीं.
So what did you write today?
What did I write today? I mean, there's a lot of stuff I wrote.
Whose name?
Whose name?
You wrote a lot of things?
Kind of. Yeah. This is everything for today.
Was it quantum tunneling? What was it? Something tunneling.
Quantum tunneling, yeah. Also that.
She's producing it.
See the bottom?
And it's dented near the top. How do you dent metal? What did you do?
When you keep this, it makes lot of sound, no? You don't want that sound? Huh?
Put a balloon.
Huh?
You can put a balloon
Yeah,
on.
put the balloon.
One of those foam mat things.
Well, it has the mat thing. It's just
The other side is
yeah, this is fine, but this side's dented so much that it's just gone in.
You gotta blow up the balloon and then you put it in each.
I know.
Keep it.
It's hard. I've tried it before. No, I've tried it before.
Doesn't work?
Yeah, I tried to do it with the foam. It's hard. It might work when I tried it. So.
You must keep it reverse and then hold it like this.
It does.
Put a rubber band there.
Take a liquid, twist it.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
You can do it for your phone case too. And then there's just the other thing like.
Can do for anything. Can do for phone. You have to cut that.
It's gone.
Both sides you should cut.
Uh-huh.
Both sides you should cut.
Or
Cut
just
this
put
side,
this rubber
cut the other
band
side. That's what you should do.
So, anyways, I was looking into. So, my original idea was to do the theory of evolution, but then everyone was telling me it was a really easy topic. So then I got a couple others.
There's this chapter called Academy.
Quantum tunneling.
Quantum?
Tunneling.
What is quantum tunneling?
It's basically this idea that an electron can pass through solid objects. Basically,
The gold foil experiment is based off of that.
a particle, so an electron can be a particle or a wave. It's part of the particle-wave duality thing. So a particle can be a particle or a wave. It is both, basically. So a wave just predicts where the particle is. So it's both. When a wave goes towards, a wave shows the probability of where the particle is. So when a wave goes towards a solid wall, if the solid wall is thin enough, when the wave reaches to it, it shows an exponential decrease of the probability that the particle is there, and if the thing is thin enough, then it can show a slight probability.
Are you doing it too?
Probability
The challenge?
after.
Yeah,
Open that open.
That shows that it could have passed through the wall if it was thin enough.
Which wave is that?
What do you mean? Like it's a probability wave.
Probability wave. Physically, what is that wave?
Physically, it's the wave of the electron.
What is the source? The energy source for you?
Oh, energy source?
How do you produce? Any wave has got some energy, therefore it moves. So what is the source?
It's the velocity of the electron.
Is it light? Is it sound? Is it
None of them.
heat wave?
It's not.
Then physically you must produce some wave, right?
Yeah.
To show that this is how it works.
But this wave is literally consists of the energy of
Energy from?
the thing itself. Like a proton, neutron, or electron, the energy from that itself.
Is it? But it doesn't go anywhere. The energy of an electron is to revolve around it. How is the light produced?
By waves.
How? The electrons in the last orbit gets excited. So it jump out of the orbit.
Into your eye.
Therefore, when it is jumping, it has to leave its energy. That energy is in a frequency of light wave. That's why light is coming. And then you see sometimes the radium light. Even if you switch off, it will stay for some more time. Why? It comes back to its origin. That's how that radium is. While coming back again, it leaves some energy. Some bulbs, when you switch off, immediately it goes off.
But others like dim down.
Otherwise, yeah. So always any wave pattern, there is a source. There is either something is losing, something it is gaining. So the question is, what is that source which you use to produce this? Even for electrons, everything is electromagnetic energy. Look at it again. Ask yourself some critical questions like this. Good. Anything is good.
You sure is your mom picking this up?
Yeah, she said she was coming.
Okay.
What is next today's program?
I have a dentist appointment.
What for? You want to remove her teeth or what?
I think I might have a cavity, I'm not sure.
Camera. Still no.
You look colorful today. A lot of flowers. What flower is that?
Don't know.
These shirts are generally Fiji shirts.
Are you?
Fiji people will use a lot of different color with the big flowers on it.
Are you in the USTA tournament? Are you doing it?
And bottom will be almost dark, same color.
Are you in the doubles or singles?
No idea yet.
No idea. Didn't you sign up yet?
Nope.
Today's the last day to sign up. June 10th. Yeah.
I'll go.
Are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
See?
You probably should have known the date then.
Correct?
Yeah. I mean, Jerry told me about it. And then I
Always
forgot.
Fiji colors are.
There's still
Fiji
spots
clothes are.
left because it's